Hello all, this is Halloween, and if you love cemeteries as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. In today's episode, we're headed to Mount Dora. We're going to visit the Edgewood Cemetery. This cemetery was established in the 1930s and is one of many African American cemeteries in Florida. Enjoy! We're here at the Edgewood Cemetery. Just kidding. Edgewood Cemetery in Mount Dora. Let's go in and see what we can see. We've entered the cemetery. There's the sign we were just at. It's just off the main road here. It's a quiet, more rural area though, so it's not really a main road per se. There's a few cars going by here and there, but still pretty quiet cemetery. This cemetery is another African American cemetery. As you'll see, mostly crypts again, facing east. It's a bit of a windy day here in Mount Dora. It's nice and cool. Beautiful though. Nice and sunny outside. There's about 700 burials here, and they are still entering as of today. So you'll see a lot of more recent burials and memorials. When I went to look at the history of the cemetery online, this cemetery has had some trouble with vandalism. Back in 2021, there was a couple of men, they had actually broken into 4 crypts and stolen the skulls of 2 veterans laid to rest here. They took the skulls to Lake Wales, where they built a shrine with the skulls, and the skulls were later found in a shed in Lake Wales. So here we're seeing the nice banner again. Kadia. I can't pronounce these names. I don't want to mess them up. This looks like the final resting place of Takesha D. Martin. Here we have a brand new burial. March 24th, 2024. And another banner over there. Looks like there's quite a few veteran memorials here. Now there's a lot of African American cemeteries. There's so many that I'm running into lately that I actually just made a playlist on my channel that's going to be all African American cemeteries because there's so many of them. And I think it's because in African American religion, their belief is that the body is not to be cremated because that will prevent the soul from going on to heaven. So a lot of them, most of them I would say, don't get cremated. It's not common in the African belief. So most all Africans get proper burials, and most commonly in a crypt. This is a really pretty cemetery. Such a gorgeous day. It's still cool here in Florida. Midday it gets a little warmer, but we're here kind of in the morning hours, so it's cooler. Look at this one over here. In African American cemeteries too, you're typically free to kind of do whatever you want with the memorials. This one's added wind chimes, statues. There's this person must have really liked dogs. There's some dog statues, bunny rabbits, because it was just Easter. So pretty cool. And like I said, a lot of them will paint the crypts. They've got burials all the way up to the fence line here. As you can see, a lot of flags. So these are a lot of veterans buried here. Hope it's not too windy and you can hear me. Windy days are tough. There's a Thomas William Harris buried here. And the Harris family plot. U.S. Army. Passed in June of 1961. This doesn't look to be a super old cemetery. If I had to guess, it would be established around the 1960s, late 50s. A lot of newer burials here, but then you can see that there are some old ones too. These here are pretty old and unmarked. That's common in some of the African American cemeteries, that they're either unmarked or undocumented, but there are a lot of volunteer groups that are working on fixing that. Having a hard time finding out when this cemetery was established. I can't really find it online, but I mean, it could go as far back as the 1920s. It's kind of hard to tell because the oldest memorials in here are unmarked, so it's kind of harder to tell. Trying to see if I can find one that's older so I get an idea, but see all these crypts right here, most of them are unmarked. But they look like, I mean, they could be as old as, you know, the 1920s. You know, that wouldn't, to me, that's a newer cemetery because I've been to some that were established in the 1800s and even prior to that. In St. Augustine, those go way back. Even to the 1700s. So this is different here. I've never seen a crypt this wide. This is like the width of 2 crypts, or maybe 1.5, but it's a wide crypt. That's kind of cool. A lot of people laid to rest here that passed post 2000. There's got 2005, 2015, 2019. So a lot of new burials here. A lot. This crypt is kind of neat. It almost looks like a church door on the top. It's got some neat, like, panel that has a cool pattern in it. This was a young man, born in 1991 and passed in 2019. There's a 2018, 2013 over here. Well, it's a small cemetery, only 700 burials, and that's probably old information. It's probably increased since then. Just since 2000, there's been a lot of burials here, new burials, so that's probably increased even in the last few months. But it doesn't take a long time to get around this cemetery, so I'll be heading out of here now. I'll see you at the next one. We're here at the Smoker at the flea market in Mount Dora, which is, by the way, an incredible flea market. I'm so glad we stopped by here. We're going to eat some barbecue. GoPro, stop recording. So much for joining me again today. I hope you loved today's episode. I'm really starting to dig the African American cemeteries. There's really always so much uniqueness, and they really put a lot of effort into decorating their departed's memorial spaces, and it's just something that's really cool to see. They're always different, and I don't know, I just really love them. If you are into the African American cemeteries as well, I have created an all African American cemetery playlist that has some dating back even to the early 1800s. So check that out. That does it for today's episode. If you loved this episode, there are so many more like it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video, and I'll see you next time.